This is Chuck Rapp with Multiply, a podcast to provide a word of encouragement for village church planters and leaders. Our topic for 2025 has been Steward Leadership, and today we reach the conclusion of this series. I've entitled this episode, Steward Leadership, Why It Matters. You may have read or heard this before. A steward is defined as someone who manages resources belonging to another person in order to achieve the owner's objectives. In our context, we're managing resources provided by the Lord for our village church planting work. In this series, we've explored several of Jesus' parables, including the parable of the talents in Matthew 25, the parable of the faithful and wise steward in Matthew chapter 24, and also Luke 12, the parable of the barren fig tree in Luke 13, and the parable of the unjust steward in Luke 16. Here again are the 5 major themes of stewardship. Character matters. This theme is foundational. If one fails to have good and godly character, then he or she cannot be trusted with God's resources or blessings. They will ultimately be disqualified from leadership. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 9 says, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out." As an extreme example, consider Ananias and Sapphira in Acts chapter 5. Secondly, stewards have an obligation to account for their stewardship. Our earthly leaders have a responsibility to hold us accountable for our use of organizational and kingdom resources, and ultimately, we are accountable to our Heavenly Father, as He is the one who provides it all. Third, stewardship necessitates cultivating relationships. An African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. Our goal of a church in every African village by 2050 requires us to go far, and we cannot do this on our own. We must develop relationships both within VCP and also externally with like-minded partners. Fourth, the steward must share his master's goal for growth. The parable of the talents highlights this reality. And also consider the story of the miraculous catch recorded in John 21. This is following Jesus' resurrection. And interestingly, the Apostle John includes the detail that 153 fish were caught that morning. This sets a pattern for us in our training center celebrations and our metrics reporting. And then finally, faithful stewards advance in their levels of responsibility. With VCP's growth, more workers and more leaders are needed. This means more trainers, coordinators, and supervisors will be added to the team, and these will be selected from those who have demonstrated faithful stewardship. We're incredibly grateful for God's favor and His provision, and we must steward these well. This has been a word of encouragement for village church planters and leaders.